Hey guys, and welcome to beautiful sunny California. In this episode, we're going to be visiting something that maybe not a lot of people know about. Even people who live in Los Angeles don't really know about it, but it's the fact that LA has a ton of hidden staircases. I had actually made a video a couple of months prior showing off all the staircases in the Silver Lake area, but for this video, we're going to go to different staircases that are hidden pretty much all over Los Angeles in order to kind of look at them and to see the areas that they're hidden in. And I really find that, as I said, it is interesting because not a lot of people know about them, and they were built back in the day because, well, people lived in the hills and they needed to go down those hills in order to get their public transportation. But nowadays that people are mostly driving with cars, they're not used as often, but they're still here and they're still beautiful. So without any further ado, let's explore. Many people associate Los Angeles with heavy traffic and places that are separated far and apart. But what Los Angeles has too is many hills and mountains. Even though most people have cars nowadays, back in the day many staircases were built to assist Angelenos from red car stops to uphill homes. Now, with most people owning cars, these same staircases are mostly used to bring people to city views, give people a no-cost exercise alternative to gyms and fitness studios, and obviously are still used by locals to get to their hillside homes. Sometimes I wonder how people can live on top of such steep hills, and the Eldritch Stairs are exactly what makes me wonder about these things, because they're on top of a really steep hill that has about a 33% incline, so it's really hard to get up. And then once you're up the hill, well, it's the end of the residential street, and then you see these beautiful stairs that go up for another 196 steps, so it's even higher than the street itself. But it's kind of cool too, because once you're here, it's really beautiful. You get a really beautiful view of the Eagle Rock area, and you're also pretty close to the Dodger Stadium. So yeah, it is really nice and green, and you get to see all of this kind of arid vegetation and greenery that you would see in California. But yeah, these stairs are really awesome, and yeah, if you get on top of these and walk all the way up, well, you'll definitely get your exercise for the day. The Eldridge Street Stairs are located in northeast Los Angeles, close to the Eagle Rock area of Los Angeles. This neighborhood is known for being a mecca of counterculture, maintains a number of historically significant buildings, and has a close connection with the motion picture industry. As for the Eldridge Street Stairs, as mentioned, they are located on top of a really steep street. But it's not just any steep street. This street is actually the third steepest street in the world, even beating out all the streets in San Francisco. Walking up the steps, there's quite a lot of nature and even a couple of residential houses located adjacent to them. Seeing the city all the way down and looking at the mix of desert-like vegetation and trees has an eerie vibe to it. Making it up the street and steps did give me quite a good satisfaction. The area is calm, the view is beautiful, and something about the wooden steps just gave it that old-time feel to it. Truly, this area is an exercise in itself, filled with beautiful views when you reach the top. Some of these stairs truly are hidden gems in Los Angeles, like the Claremont Stairs, which are on the side of, I would say, a street where cars can pass by, but it is hilly, so not a lot of people walk here. There's not a lot of cars that pass either, but it is really cool. It's in the heart of the Mount Washington area, and when you get to the top of these stairs, you get to see a beautiful view of the Glassell Hill area. And adjacent to it, there's the Garland G. Smith Recreational Area, which is a really interesting park because, well, it's all really desert-like and everything's dry, but on the sides, there's a bunch of trees and some palm trees. And walking through it, even though it's desert-like, I still think it's worth it because it's not something common that you would see anywhere else in the world. And yeah, it kind of reminds us too that LA is, well, it's supposed to be part of a desert, and when you see this kind of nature, you're really reminded of it. The Claremont Street Stairs truly are hidden. The stairs themselves are about roughly 150 steps and aren't too difficult to climb. They are also pretty to look at, but I did notice that quite a few residences on these stairs seem to have dogs that were extremely eager to bark at any sign of movement. At the bottom of the stairs, there's a sign to the Garland G. Smith Community Center, which was a 2-acre parcel of land donated to the city in 1929 by Garland G. Smith, a developer who contributed to the growth of Los Angeles in the 1920s. The center, however, was abandoned over time until a small team of volunteers from Mount Washington restored it in the 1970s. Even though it was restored, it seems that once again it has become a vacant lot, and walking through it is like going through a little parcel of desert. As for the Claremont Stairs, as many of them in and around the city, they are at a pretty nice altitude and give a really nice view of the Mount Washington area and its residences. Downtown LA is such an interesting area. It's actually really frowned upon by a lot of people because it is kind of disjointed. There are truly quite a few ugly things right here in downtown LA, but at the same time, well, if you're willing to take the time to actually walk through all of the streets, well, you're going to find little pebbles, little treasures, like right here, the Bunker Hill steps, which are really, really cool. They're right across the downtown Central Library and close to Pershing Square, and they go up for 101 steps, and they're really, really cool. They're surrounded by nature, and then there's also a fountain and then some statues, and it's really, truly cool because as much as people say that downtown LA is ugly, as I did say, if you're willing to take the time, well, then you find treasures like here, and they are truly hidden. Bunker Hill is a neighborhood in downtown Los Angeles. Historically, Bunker Hill was a large hill that separated downtown Los Angeles from the western end of the city. The hill was tunneled through at 2nd Street in 1924 and at 3rd and 4th Streets. In the late 20th century, the hill was lowered in elevation, and the entire area was redeveloped to supplant old frame and concrete buildings with modern high-rises and other structures for residences, commerce, entertainment, and education. As for the Bunker Hill steps, they're truly magnificent as they are built in glamorous stone and surrounded by high-rise buildings. For the people who don't want to walk all these steps, there are even escalators that can help people go up and down the hill. Even though the fountain on top of the steps isn't the biggest and most spectacular, it does have a certain charm and brings a good sense of calm to anyone willing to take a pause in front of it. Speaking of hidden gems in downtown Los Angeles, well, we have the Last Bookstore, which is a true hidden gem. This bookstore is really, really awesome. It's super big, but what I really like about it is, of course, it has a lot of books, old and new, but it is a sort of art gallery. There's so much art inside, and everything is super well decorated with books going into shelves and shelves going into books. It's really very magical, and it feels like when you're going through this kind of bookstore, well, it's kind of like a maze. It's like you're going sort of through a ride, and then you are also able to see all of this art because there's a lot of art galleries inside, so a lot of artists are inside the bookstore with their small little shops. But it is really, really awesome, and as I did say, I love magic, and finding magical places in downtown LA is always awesome. The Last Bookstore truly is magical. This place manages to create visual merchandising through creative displays and book sculptures. Myself being a book lover, this is definitely a place to visit, but also a store that deserves taking the time to go through all the shelves, looking at not only the interesting decorations, but also the rare books that can be found at every corner. Pretty close to the Last Bookstore, we have Pershing Square, which is a small public park, 1 square block in size. Originally dedicated in 1866 as La Plaza Abaja, the square has had numerous names over the years until it was finally dedicated in honor of General John J. Pershing in 1918. The square is actually the largest park in downtown Los Angeles and is highlighted by a couple of structures and statues, with most notably a 7-foot statue of Beethoven, the great German composer. Even though the park is maintained to some degree, it does also feel a little bit let down and is a remnant of the early 20th century Los Angeles when downtown LA was trying to become the city it thought it needed to be. Now, if you're someone who, like me, loves to look at the city from above, well, the Broadview Terrace stairs are really awesome because they are in the heart of Hollywood. They're also adjacent to the High Tower, which is a 5-story building, which is really, really cool. And it overlooks the whole city of Hollywood and Los Angeles. And it's really cool because also when you do go to this area, well, yes, you're going to see some steps, but it's not just steps. When you're walking up into these little alleyways, well, you're going to be able to have a little bit of a hike, and there's going to be little different paths, and all will have different stairs. And as I said, once you get to kind of the top part of this hike, there is that beautiful view. So yeah, you get great stairs, you get to see cool architecture, and then you get to see a beautiful view of Hollywood. The Broadview Terrace stairs is really an interesting location in the Hollywood Hills. Only steps away from the Hollywood Bowl, once you go up the initial steps, this residential area feels like some narrow streets in a remote European village. As for the tower at the base of the residences, it is a 5-story tower which went up a century ago and was built for the purpose to spare the residents of this notoriously hilly place from huffing and puffing their way to their doors. It's modeled after Italian campaniles or freestanding bell towers and offers an easy path skyward with a killer view of downtown LA. This elevator is locked, and to climb aboard it you have to be a resident of one of the surrounding homes. Many of these hillside houses were designed by the architect Carly Kay and went up between 1935 and 1956. One notorious house that can be found in these hills is the former LA residence to the late Kurt Cobain, who was known from the band Nirvana. This house seems to have been left abandoned for many years and is pretty obviously boarded up so that trespassers don't just go wandering into this empty house. Apparently this house has been sold as of early 2022, but nothing has really been done to renovate it. It still looks eerie with its boarded doors and windows, but I'm sure that with a little TLC this could become a spectacular place. Nevertheless, empty or not, this is an interesting house to look at from the outside, as it's a prime example of Hollywood music industry. While in Hollywood, one of the most amazing stairs that I have actually found are called the Saroyan Stairs. And these are really awesome, especially if you are a tourist here in Hollywood, because, well, it is towards the Hollywood sign, so you can go see the Hollywood sign and you can come see these stairs, but they're really, really worth it because, well, they are kind of different than what I'm used to. They have stairs on both sides of this kind of separation that is made out of a bunch of planters, and then there's little benches. As you can see, I'm sitting on one. But yeah, it's really pleasant, it's really beautiful, and as I said, it's on the way to the Hollywood sign. But I think with that, this is the perfect place to end this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed going on this visit of all the different staircases and hidden places here in Los Angeles. And if you did enjoy it, well, please be sure to subscribe, hit the like button, leave me a comment too. Let me know what other places in LA I should go visit. Let me know if there's other secret places that I should go visit. I'm here in LA, so I can definitely make a video about it. So, well, with that being said, have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next video.